taking victories for yourself. Just set yourself. Doesn't matter what. Don't. That this like the weight loss goal is a nice one, and I do feel proud of myself because it was genuinely slow and hard and arduous to get down from that. And I'm proud of myself for doing it, but it wasn't like the goal itself. Now that I'm here, I'm like, yeah, this isn't what I was looking for. So, but I still have. I'm like, okay, I take the victory. I did something difficult. Took me a very long time. Took me years, but I eventually did it. And I'm better off now for it. And you just push yourself. Be brave with yourself. And this type of exercise of talking to a camera or even an audio recorder, go for a walk and talk to yourself and talk about your day and talk about what's bothering you, or just talk about what you're seeing when you're walking and be like, oh, that's a cool looking flower over there, and just describe the flower to the phone, and then later listen to that audio. And it's nice just to watch. It's not nice, it's enjoyable sometimes, but for the most part it's very, to begin with, I'm very uncomfortable to begin with, but that's another blind spot. It's an irrationality that shouldn't really be there. It's mental trickery it's trying to protect yourself from something that's not. You shouldn't be protecting yourself from. You shouldn't be protecting yourself from yourself, because that's what you're doing. You're just by yourself, listening to yourself when you weren't really thinking about what you were saying. You were just talking, and it's just such a. But if you force yourself, do the dishes and have some headphones and just be like kind of semi-listening and just listen a couple of times and just like be distracted. And if you don't like what you're hearing and you cringe away from it, just go focus on the dishes and then kind of just let it kind of wash into the background, and then listen to it the next day. And when you're walking to work or walking the dogs or driving or whatever, like just kind of immerse yourself in your own thought and just kind of watch yourself for like, ooh, I didn't mean to say that. Like my intention was different from my words. Have I been making that mistake before? Have every time I mean to express amusement, do I accidentally come off as condescending? Like, I don't know. Or maybe you just maybe the first thing you say about something is it's a criticism of something, and it's just to yourself, and you're just, or maybe what you observe is like, oh, it's such a pity that the weather's shit, or it's such a pity that farmer is doing monoculture. I hate monoculture. Think of the environment. Like, if that's what you're noticing, if that's what you're focusing on, then notice that about yourself and be like, oh, maybe here's a mental blind spot. Maybe it's irrational for me to be so focused on the dark side. And yeah, that's kind of a really good self-help, like, as far as like how to start to love yourself, is to just think about yourself and understand yourself, and then you genuinely love yourself. Love is deep awareness and acceptance. You have to see and know, feel and know together. So it's the other way around. I think depends how you look at it. Both could be feeling and knowing. I can't remember. I'm tired. I'm about to go to bed. Record yourself. Go for a walk. Record yourself. Don't think about what you're saying. Let your mind kind of just move and fade in and out, and don't expect to enjoy the experience at first. Just start in 5 minutes and then work your way up. Just talk for 5 minutes and then listen to yourself talk straight away, or don't delete the footage, wait at least a couple of hours, then listen again. The longer you can wait, and then listen to it a few days time, and then maybe in a couple of weeks' time, and also notice how your opinions about that video change over time. Like maybe 5 minutes later you listen to it and you're like, oh God, I hate my own voice. Notice that thought, because then in a year's time, if you watch that video again and you're like, your reaction will probably be amusement and like, haha, I was so naive type of thing. Like that's what your kind of reaction to your past self should be. Should be an awareness and acceptance. Just, haha, I accept that. That's what laughing is. It's just acceptance, you know. It's understanding someone's telling a joke, their story's doing this, the story of the joke is going in this direction, and you extrapolate and you think it's going here, and then suddenly the guy goes, takes it in a new direction, but you still understand it, and it's still dawning of understanding, like, oh, I thought he was going that way, he's going that way. Haha. It's kind of all these good feelings of understanding in different directions, like all forms of understanding feel good, and all forms of not understanding, you know, fear and anger and all of that shit is essentially what it's like. Those are the negatives. That's the lack of understanding is the bad feelings. So yeah, you gotta understand yourself, break apart yourself, watch your own thought patterns, and it takes time. It really does take time, and I mean time in two senses of the word. Like in your day-to-day life,